Stop being nice, it's ruining your life. Okay, I know, that sounds pretty harsh, right? But what if I told you that what we all call being nice often has absolutely nothing to do with kindness? What if it's actually a fear response and it is secretly running your entire life? Let's get into it.
So let me ask you this. Do you find yourself apologizing all the time? Like even when it's completely 100% not your fault? You know the scene. Someone bumps into you on the street and the first words out of your mouth are, "Oh, I'm so sorry." If that sounds familiar, well, you're not alone. It's a classic sign you've been taught to just smooth things over no matter what.
Or, hey, how about this one? A coworker asks you to stay late, again, to help them with their project. You feel that sinking feeling in your stomach, but you just plaster on a smile and hear yourself saying, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And why? Just to keep the peace, to avoid that little moment of potential awkwardness. If you are nodding your head right now, then you really need to pay attention to this next part. Okay, so this whole thing, this constant need to be nice, it actually has a clinical name. It's called fawning. And here is the absolute game changer. It is not kindness. It is not generosity. Fawning is a stress response. It's an automatic, subconscious survival instinct that kicks in to protect you from something your brain sees as a threat. So let's talk about the fawn stress response. Just knowing this term can kind of change everything, can't it? This isn't some flaw in your personality. It's a feature of your survival wiring. So let's dig into where that wiring actually comes from.
Most of us have heard of the fight, flight, or freeze responses. They're pretty famous. Well, it turns out there's a fourth F that often gets left out of the conversation. Fawn. This is the one that kicks in when your brain decides you can't fight back and you can't run away. So what's left? You try to appease the threat. You become super helpful, super agreeable. You do whatever it takes to neutralize the danger before it has a chance to hurt you.
And this is where we have to get really, really clear on the difference between kindness and agreeableness. See, real, authentic kindness, that's a choice. It comes from a place of strength and confidence. Fawning, on the other hand, is a compulsion. It comes straight from fear. It isn't authentic at all. It's transactional. You're basically trying to trade your niceness for a feeling of safety. And deep down, at the very core of this fawning response, is one simple, powerful belief. If I am nice, they won't hurt me. That's it. That's the subconscious program running in the background. It's a survival strategy that whispers in your ear. Just keep everyone happy. Don't make waves. But oh man, does that strategy come with a heavy price tag. So let's talk about that price. The price of people pleasing. Because here's the giant, painful irony of it all. You think you're making people like you more, but what you're actually doing is losing their respect. And this isn't just a feeling, by the way. There's research to back this up. People who are overly agreeable are often seen as having lower status. They're even perceived as being less competent. And it makes sense when you think about it. Every time you say yes when you really mean no, you are literally training the people around you to overlook your needs. You're teaching them that your time, your energy, your opinions, they don't matter as much. You're signaling submission, not partnership. And this is why you end up constantly apologizing. You're sorry for taking up space. You're sorry for asking a question. You're sorry for simply existing. You act like your very presence is an inconvenience to other people. And you know what happens when you do that long enough? People start to believe you.
There's an old saying that puts it perfectly. If you lay yourself down, don't be surprised when people wipe their boots on you. Oof, I know that's blunt, but it's also true. When you make yourself into a doormat, you can't be shocked when people walk all over you. And facing that hard truth is the first, most crucial step to picking yourself back up. Okay, so that's the problem. It's this deep-seated survival instinct. How in the world do you even begin to change it? Well, the great news is the answer isn't to stop being nice or become a jerk. The answer is to start learning to say no. It's about building a brand new skill.
And the best way I've heard to think about this is that the solution is to build your no muscle. I love that metaphor. For a lot of people pleasers, that muscle is super weak. Maybe it's even completely atrophied. It feels awkward and scary to use it. But just like any other muscle in your body, you can absolutely strengthen it. It just takes practice. So how do you start working out this no muscle? Well, you don't go to the gym on day one and try to bench press 300 pounds, right? Of course not. You start with the tiny weights. So first, start with really low stakes. The barista asks if you want whipped cream. No, thanks. That's a rep. Next, learn to delay your answer. Your reflex is to say yes immediately, so break that circuit. Just say, you know what, let me check my calendar and get back to you. That buys you time.
And third, have a script ready. Something simple and polite like, I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now. Having the words ready to go helps you not to panic in the moment. And this really gets to the heart of why this is all so important. Think about this for a second. If you cannot say no, your yes means nothing. Just let that sink in. If no is not a real option for you, then your yes is just a default setting. It's hollow. It has no power. How can people trust your yes if they know you're incapable of ever saying no?
This all leads to a final and maybe the most important mindset shift you can make. It's about consciously moving from a life that's optimized for likability to a life that's optimized for respect.
So let's look at the choice you're making here. On one side, you've got the goal to be liked. That path requires you to submit, to avoid conflict at all costs. But the craziest part is, it backfires. You end up losing the trust and respect you were chasing in the first place. But then there's the other path, the goal to be respected. That path requires you to set boundaries. It means, yes, sometimes you have to navigate necessary conflict, but where does it lead? It leads to gaining real trust and authentic respect. Because here's the bottom line. We don't build real, lasting relationships on submission. That is not how human connection works. We build them on mutual respect. And you will never, ever get respect from other people until you first start respecting yourself enough to honor your own needs, your own time, and your own energy. It's such a strange paradox of people-pleasing, isn't it? You think being agreeable is what makes you seem reliable. But it's actually the exact opposite. People who have a backbone are seen as more trustworthy and more reliable. Why? Because when they say yes, you know they mean it. And when they say no, you know they mean that too. You know exactly where you stand with them, and that kind of clarity is incredibly valuable.
So, I want to leave you with a simple question. Don't try to change your entire life overnight. That's just not how it works. Instead, just think about this. What is one boundary you need to set this week? Just one. One small, low-stakes thing. Whatever it is, that's your starting line. That's your first rep in building your no muscle.